Hi there, and thanks for joining me for another junk journaling video. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is an A6 size junk journal that I made myself using some old papers, and I'm basically using it as a form of memory keeping and a place to write letters to my daughter Denny. So for these pages, I wanted to make an acknowledgement of the less than ideal times of motherhood and sort of shed some light on something that I've personally experienced. The photo that I'm using in this spread is one that I took myself holding Denny. She was only 3 weeks old at the time, and while I'm smiling and it looks like a happy, peaceful photo, I was feeling the complete opposite. Now, as a disclaimer, I absolutely love being a mother, I truly do, but becoming a parent was a huge transition, and I think it's one of those things that no matter how much you prepare yourself for it, you're not really going to understand the weight of it until you're actually in it, if that makes sense. Anyway, so when this photo was taken, my husband had returned to work, and now the reality of being a full-time stay-at-home mother to a tiny dependent human left me just a little bit shell-shocked, to say the least. I have suffered from postnatal depression, and I'm honestly never ashamed to talk about it because I didn't choose it. And I also have found that many people who are subscribed to my channel and follow me on Instagram are mothers themselves, or they may even be thinking about having children. And I guess I just needed people to know that you're not alone, and if you are going through what I went through, that it's not your fault and that you can get help. I think the biggest thing that I struggled with, along with sleep deprivation, which sort of goes along with caring for a newborn but can definitely add to your already vulnerable emotional state, is the excessive worry and anxieties that I experience 24/7. I would often experience panic attacks, and I was even unable to sleep because I had this fear that something terrible would happen to Denny the moment that I let my guard down. I also started to avoid certain places and situations, and that can give someone a false sense of safety because you think that you're avoiding potential danger, but all you're really doing is you're going to isolate yourself and allow those fears to grow. And I guess the newness of everything was sort of overwhelming too. I remember being in the chemist and Danny started to cry and get fussy, just like most babies do. And I would get really worked up and overwhelmed because I'd feel like people were judging me or thinking that I must be a bad mother if I wasn't able to immediately settle her. Even the little things like trying to remember how to unfold the stroller would make me think that I was useless, and I would wonder how all these other mothers out there seemed so calm and put together. But I had to stop and keep reminding myself that maybe the other mother that I was comparing myself to was feeling the exact same way that I was, but she was just better at hiding it, just like I was doing in this photo. Postnatal depression can become a really awful cycle of shame and insecurity because it has a terrible stigma, and so the people that are experiencing the symptoms are more likely to avoid getting help, and again that can lead to isolation and feelings of excessive worry, and you can kind of hop onto a downward spiral thinking that you're broken and you're not being the mother that your child deserves. Fortunately, I did get help, and I've been doing so much better these days. But I do distinctly remember describing to my therapist that postnatal depression feels like you're underwater and that you're drowning and that the people around you don't even realize. So if you or someone that you know is feeling this way, please just reach out and seek help. 1 in 7 women will experience postnatal depression. So it's definitely not just you, and it's not your fault, and you're definitely not broken. I will leave some resources down below in the description box. I understand that you might not even want to admit that something isn't quite right. I completely understand how that feels. But reaching out and getting help isn't admitting that you're some kind of failure. It's reclaiming your headspace and allowing you and your baby to enjoy your lives together. Okay, well that just about does it. I hope this helps someone. Please leave a comment of your experiences maybe down below if you're comfortable doing that. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.